In the silent vastness of space, two giants engage in a fierce competition, a new-age space race between China and the US. This time the prize isn't the moon, it's Mars. As we delve into the cosmos, a fresh rivalry unfolds. In one corner we have the United States, a seasoned player in the field of space exploration, with NASA at the helm. In the other corner we have China, a rising titan demonstrating its space prowess with a successful Mars mission under its belt. Both nations are now setting their sights on a new frontier, Mars. Their objective? To be the first to retrieve samples from the red planet. This is no easy task. It involves the collection of rock samples, launching from the Martian surface and safely returning the samples back to Earth. The complexity of these stages requires an incredibly intelligent system design, and both nations are up to the task. China's Mars rock recovery mission, led by the Tianwen spacecraft, is progressing smoothly. Chief designer Zezhou has affirmed that China possesses all the key technologies needed for their upcoming Tianwen mission. Their confidence is palpable, and it seems the project's scientists are ready to face the challenges ahead. On the other side of the world, NASA's Mars sample return mission is facing some turbulence. Despite a rich history of space exploration, the US has had its share of delays and difficulties. The mission's cost, initially estimated at $4 billion, could exceed $10 billion. This increase has led to layoffs within NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, a crucial player in the mission. Yet, amid the uncertainty, scientists remain hopeful. The Mars Sample Return Program is set to collect Martian rocks from diverse and scientifically valuable sites. These samples, currently being collected by NASA's Perseverance rover, are expected to return to Earth around 2031. Meanwhile, China's Tianwen mission is slated to complete its goal a year earlier, in 2030. As these two nations vie for the same prize, we're reminded of a similar race half a century ago, the race to the moon. The stakes are high, the challenges are immense, and the race to retrieve Mars rocks is on. Two mighty nations, two ambitious missions, but two very different paths. Let's explore. We find ourselves in a time where the race to Mars has been reignited, not by Cold War rivals, but by two of the world's leading powers, the United States and China. Each has set their sights on the red planet, but their journeys couldn't be more different. Let's begin with China. In 2021, their Tianwen spacecraft touched gently down on Martian soil, marking China as only the second nation to achieve this feat. Driven by the visionary chief designer Zezhou, the Tianwen mission laid the groundwork for what's to come. Zezhou confidently affirms that China already possesses the key technologies for the upcoming Tianwen mission, a daring endeavor to retrieve Martian rocks and return them to Earth. But what makes this mission so challenging? It's a two-step dance in the cosmos. First, the spacecraft must collect rock samples and then lift off from the Martian surface. Next, the capsule holding these precious samples must make the long journey back to Earth. It's a task that requires intelligence, precision, and a whole lot of courage. Now let's turn to the United States. Their Mars Sample Return Mission, or MSR, has faced a bumpy road. Initially estimated at $4 billion, the cost has ballooned, potentially exceeding $10 billion. Delays have plagued the mission, pushing the timeline back and forcing the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, to cut back their staff by 8%. Despite these setbacks, the mission presses on. The goal? To collect Martian rocks from diverse, scientifically valuable sites and return them to Earth by 2031. However, as the clock ticks, it's China that seems to be ahead in this cosmic race. Their Tianwen mission is poised to complete its goal a year before the MSR, in 2030. As the dust settles, one thing becomes clear: China seems poised for victory. In the quest for Martian rocks, both nations face daunting challenges. Not only is the task of landing on Mars a monumental feat in itself, but the retrieval of rock samples and subsequent takeoff from the planet's surface present a whole new level of complexity. Let's start with the collection of rock samples. It's akin to picking up a needle in a haystack, but in this case, the haystack is a vast, rocky landscape millions of miles away. The spacecraft needs to pinpoint the exact location of a suitable rock sample, delicately extract it without causing any damage, and then safely store it for the journey back to Earth. This process requires an extremely intelligent system design, and according to Zezhou, chief designer of China's Tianwen spacecraft, China has all the key technologies needed to execute this meticulously. It's a bold claim, but as we've seen with their successful landing on the Red Planet in 2021, China has proven they have the technological prowess to back it up. The second challenge is the process of taking off from the Martian surface. Mars has a much thinner atmosphere than Earth, which means that traditional rocket technology simply won't work. The spacecraft will need to generate enough thrust to overcome Mars's gravitational pull and launch itself into Mars's orbit. It's a maneuver that's never been done before and one that requires careful planning and precision. The journey back to Earth is just as perilous. The spacecraft must withstand extreme temperatures, intense solar radiation, and the harsh vacuum of space. And then there's the final hurdle of re-entry into Earth's atmosphere, a process that generates temperatures hot enough to melt steel. In the face of these challenges, China appears undeterred. They believe they are ready, and they are pushing forward with their mission despite the inherent risks. The path to Mars is fraught with difficulties, but China appears ready to tackle them head-on. Space exploration doesn't come cheap. The price tag for ambition can be staggering. Let's dive into the financial realities of these Mars rock recovery programs. NASA's mission, named the Mars Sample Return, or MSR, is a testament to the high cost of space exploration. Initially projected at a hefty $4 billion, the mission's budget has ballooned. Today, it stands to exceed a staggering $10 billion. Yes, you heard it right, $10 billion. That's the price of ambition when you're trying to push the boundaries of human knowledge and explore the final frontier. Meanwhile, halfway around the world, China's Tianwen 3 mission seems to be progressing smoothly. Chief designer Sun Zezhou asserts that they have all the key technologies needed for the mission. China, it appears, is ready to take on the challenges of Mars. But what makes NASA's mission so costly? For one, the MSR's sampling sites are diverse, carefully chosen to provide high scientific value. This means the mission is not a simple grab and go. It involves meticulous planning, advanced technologies, and a robust team of scientists and engineers. In February, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, which leads the MSR mission, had to lay off 8% of its staff. This could further exacerbate the mission's challenges. However, it's not just about the money, it's also about time. Delays have plagued NASA's mission, pushing the timeline further into the future. The rocks currently being collected by NASA's Perseverance rover aren't expected to return to Earth until around 2031. On the other hand, China's Tianwen 3 mission is expected to accomplish its goal a whole year earlier, in 2030. This relative speed and efficiency could give China the edge in this renewed space race. While NASA grapples with budgetary issues, China forges ahead. The space race has always been as much about national prestige as it is about scientific discovery. As we watch these two superpowers strive for Mars, one thing becomes clear: the cost of ambition is high, but the potential rewards, they're out of this world. In this space race, the finish line is within sight, but who will cross it first? That is the question that has gripped the world as two major spacefaring nations, the United States and China, gear up for an unprecedented challenge: to be the first to bring back samples from Mars. The timelines for these ambitious missions are set. NASA's Mars Sample Return program, despite its setbacks and financial hurdles, is projected to bring back Martian rocks by 2031. The samples, collected by the Perseverance rover, are expected to provide invaluable scientific data that could usher in a new era of space exploration. On the other hand, China, with its Tianwen 3 mission, is on track to reach this milestone a year earlier, in 2030. The mission has been progressing smoothly, with China's space agency confident about their key technologies and system design intelligence. If successful, it would mark another significant achievement for China, following their soft landing on the Red Planet in 2021 with the Tianwen-1 spacecraft. The stakes are high and the race is on. Both nations are fully aware that the mission to retrieve samples from Mars is fraught with challenges. Yet they press on, driven by the desire to explore, to learn, and to possibly uncover the secrets that Mars holds. In the grand scheme of things, this race is not just about being the first, it's about advancing our understanding of the universe. It's about igniting the flame of curiosity in the minds of future generations. And most importantly, it's about the collective human endeavor to push the boundaries of what's possible. While India and Europe also have their sights set on Mars, Their missions are not designed to retrieve samples, putting the spotlight firmly on the United States and China. As the world watches with bated breath, one question remains: who will be the first to bring back pieces of the red planet?